Before we start this video, I want to do a little mindset game. So please close your eyes as it is going to give you the best visualization of the scenario that I'm about to give you. With all the addictions, the habits, the routine, the day-to-day life that you live right now, let's just say you continued that for 10 years. And I want you to put yourself in the body of the 10-year-old later version of yourself. So imagine the same version of yourself a decade from now. I want you to visualize who that person is. Is he successful? Is he mediocre? Is he unsuccessful? Who is he? Who are you based on who you are now in 10 years? Now I want you to think back. Think of who you are right now in that 10-year later version of yourself. Ask yourself, as the future version of yourself, what could I have done different? Why didn't I accomplish my dreams? What went wrong? Why am I not where I wanted to be? Because odds are, at the current rate that you're living your life, you probably won't be who you want to be in the future. The decade later version of yourself is probably extremely disappointed because you didn't make good worth of your time and you didn't work to make your dreams come true. We have one life, yet we sit around and we waste it. We doom scroll on our phones. We live an unhealthy lifestyle. We don't chase our dreams. Why is that? If you really wanted it, you would do it. Think of the 14-year-old version of yourself, you when you were a kid. Do you think he would be proud of who you are right now? Odds are probably not. We need to stop this cycle. Because as cliche as it sounds, you can literally be whatever and whoever you want to be in your life. But you have to take that next step. You need to work at your dreams so hard to the point where there is no logical reasoning as to why you would fail. Let me tell you a little bit about me. 4 years ago, I was addicted to smoking weed and nicotine. I was high 24/7 for at least, at minimum, a year straight. I had no direction. I didn't care about school. I had no plans for my future. I had big dreams, but I had no direction to get to those dreams. I always knew I was worth something, but in that moment, I didn't know how I would get there. I was depressed. My girlfriend and I just broke up. I didn't have the same amount of friends as I used to. I was kind of just alone. And then I woke up. I was in my bed, just laying, staring at the ceiling, and everything changed. Something hit me deep in my heart, and I decided I will not do this any longer. I'm going to make the most out of my life. And from that point on, I made a change. That doesn't mean everything was sunshine and rainbows from that point on. That was just the beginning of the story. Fast forward a couple years, I started day trading, and I lost $100,000. I had lost all the money that I had saved up for my whole life. I can't even explain how discouraged I was. I was ahead of most people. I was doing really well financially. But at one moment, everything was all stripped from me. In just 3 months, I lost $100,000. I did that through futures trading while also developing an addiction to revenge trading. My trading journey, I had nobody. I had no mentor. I had no help. I had no direction. Literally all the odds were against me. It was the big banks and the big hedge funds who were literally programmed and engineered to beat me. And I thought I stood a chance. Fast forward to today, I make around $45,000 a month, if not more. I just want you to think about this. There is a version of you that already has everything that you want. Same face, same name, same everything, but completely different decisions. And what the craziest part is that it's not that far. That's just not who you are right now. Let's be honest. You know exactly what you should be doing. You know when you're wasting time. You know when you're lying to yourself. You knew when you said, I'm going to start tomorrow, that you're not actually going to start tomorrow. You're addicted to the comfortability of your life. And that's the problem that nobody really talks about. It's not that you're lazy and it's not that you're unmotivated. You're just too comfortable being average. Because if we're being honest, if you really wanted to change, you would have already done that. You wouldn't have done it perfectly and you wouldn't have done it all at once, but at least you would have started. I used to think that I needed the perfect plan. Like, once I figured everything out, then I'll lock in. Once I feel ready, then I'll take things serious. But let's be honest, guys, that never comes. Wake up. You don't get up one day and then just magically become a different person. You become that person by doing the things that they would do before you feel ready. And that's where most people are going to lose. Because they wait for motivation rather than being the person who is going to move and do those things regardless. Like, think about it. The version of yourself that wins, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate with himself. He doesn't tell himself, oh, I'm going to do it later. He's just going to do it. Even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when nobody sees it. And that's the difference. It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not some secret strategy. It's just who you are on a daily basis. And that's why most people fail at everything, whether that's the gym, business, trading. It's never the system, it's always the person running it. You can literally have the best plan in the world, but if you're still the same person, you're gonna keep getting the same results. So the real question is, are you actually trying to change your life, or are you just fantasizing the idea of it? Let's be clear that motivation and discipline are two different things. Motivation is just an emotion, and it is going to fade the next day. It is going to fade in an hour. Discipline is who you are. Discipline is your daily routine. Discipline is doing the things that you don't want to, yet it doesn't affect you because you're so disciplined that doing these hard things is second nature to you. You've probably done this, probably really late at night, and you were super motivated. Maybe you cranked out like 20 push-ups. And then you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to go on a 2-mile run at 7 a.m. when I wake up in the morning. You go to sleep, your alarm goes off for 7 a.m., and you think to yourself, what in the world? I'm not going on a run. That's what motivation is. You were set on going a run at 7 a.m. the previous night, but when the time actually came to take action, you fell. You fell on your face. Someone who is disciplined, for one, isn't going to bed at 2 a.m., but wakes up and goes on that run, and it's second nature to him. He gets started with his day, he goes through his morning routine, and he is way farther ahead than you are. Listen, man, nobody is coming to save you at the end of the day. The only person that is coming to save you is you. A lot of you guys fail to realize that it takes change to make change. And if you're not willing to change, nothing will change. Think about the successful version of you. Do you think that you at all acquire the same habits and lifestyle that he does? No. You are performing at the lower version of yourself, while the higher version of yourself literally has everything that you've ever dreamed of. Yet you won't do what it takes to get there because, I'm sorry, you're soft. Your brain isn't built for success, it is built for survival. So anything that feels unfamiliar or uncertain, anything that's going to require you to change, your brain is going to take as a threat, even if it's good for you. That's why you constantly stay in the patterns that you hate. That's why you procrastinate. That's why you keep saying, I know what I need to do, and then not doing it. Because to your brain, what feels familiar feels safe. There is a system in your brain that rewards easy behavior, like scrolling, avoiding work, or taking shortcuts. It gives you quick hits of dopamine and an instant reward. But discipline is something that doesn't pay you right away. So your brain naturally avoids it. Not because it's lazy, but because you have trained yourself to do what is easy. And the more you do this, over time, this is what your identity is going to be built off of. You become someone who hesitates. You become someone who delays. You become someone who puts things off. You never fully commit. And then you sit there wondering why your life isn't changing. It's not your goals. It's not your potential. It's the version of you that keeps showing up every single day. Because the version of yourself that wins, they don't rely on feeling ready. They don't rely on feeling motivated. They don't choose just because it's easy. They do what is required, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it's boring, when there's no reward yet. And until you become that person, your results won't change. So it's not that you don't know what to do. It's that you haven't become someone who actually does it. If you made it this far, odds are you're probably not going to do anything with this video. You're probably just going to watch the next video. And remember, let's not confuse being productive with laying in your bed and watching a YouTube video. Taking action is actually what matters. So I challenge you to get started. Maybe journal. Envision that future version of yourself and who you want to be. What are the day-to-day habits and the routine of that person? How can you become that person? Then just start to do that. And slowly, your dreams are going to come true. But most of you probably won't do that either. So I'll leave it here. Thank you for watching. God bless.